Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of The Investing Bros. We got a great show lined up for you guys today. Twitter. The new symbol of Twitter is the Dogecoin dog. And on that news, Dogecoin pumped over 37%. The question, though, is will that pump continue, or is it time to short Dogecoin? Also, what does this mean for the altcoin market in general? Are we about to see altcoins pump? Was this just a spark and then it's going to go away? What is this? What does this mean for cryptocurrency moving forward? We got a lot of other stories happening as well. It does definitely look like the banking crisis is not over, but we're not going to get too much in the details until later on in the show. Make sure you stick around. Today is day number 2 of our new 90-minute show. We're going to be doing some normal technical analysis, more macro technical analysis on Bitcoin in the beginning. Then we'll cover in our news. And then in this last half hour, we'll be doing some TA on some of your guys' favorite coins. Make sure you guys stay with us the entire show and give us suggestions of what you guys want to see. And if you have questions about anything else, it's a Q&A section. So if you have questions about altcoins, you have questions just about trading in general, if you have questions about who we are as people, you guys can ask whatever you want in that last 30 minutes, and we are here to answer your questions. I am joined by 2 fantastic co-hosts this morning. First of all, I got T. Shroom sitting across the desk from me. How are you doing this morning, T. Shroom?
Well, Tim, I'm doing better than I deserve.
Mm-hmm.
And one of those reasons I'm doing better than I deserve is because I have a good God. And today we have a faith-based quote. We usually don't do this, but today it felt like a good, faithful day. So let's go ahead and read the quote from Proverbs. It says, "He stores up sound wisdom for the upright. He is a shield to those who walk in integrity, guarding the paths of justice, and he preserves the way of his godly ones." Proverbs 2:7-8. So everybody feel that blessing on you today.
Awesome. Yeah, and you usually ask if I agree with quotes, but obviously I'm going to have to agree with that one.
Excellent.
Very, very much so. 110%. We're also joined by Army Piper this morning. How are you doing this morning, Piper?
I'm feeling blessed after that quote. I'm feeling blessed today, Tim.
Come on.
Thanks, T.
Very good stuff. I asked in chat, I put the poll for this morning on this Dogecoin stuff. So technically speaking, at one point, I don't know how many of you guys remember this, I lost something on the Coffee and Crypto show. I cannot remember what it was, but I had to buy Dogecoin. I think I had to buy like $50 worth of Dogecoin because I made a call wrong or something. But I don't own any Dogecoin in a wallet, but I still have a Dogecoin that I won from a trophy. One of the autos. Oh, look at that! That's actually popping up pretty clean.
Yeah, look at that.
The camera's picking up nicely. So I do own one Dogecoin that's fake because it's actually a coin, and I probably can't do anything. Although this is probably worth more than one Dogecoin if I was going to try to resell it. The question though of the poll is: should I buy more Dogecoin? We've seen this happen over and over again, and I don't think Elon is anywhere done to playing around with the meme that is Dogecoin. I think that he's going to continue to have these sporadic pumps, and it's going to go into more dormant stages. There's going to be times where Dogecoin just goes back to zero. We might look at the Dogecoin chart today, but here's a real question, and honestly, I'm gonna sit on it. Should I add Dogecoin to my crypto portfolio just for the sake of having a little bit in case something crazy happens? Because even though it is a meme coin, if Elon likes it, and Elon is one of the most powerful men in the world, and if it gets integrated into Twitter and is used for Twitter payments and stuff, it could have a nice little pump in price. And who cares if it's a meme? If the value goes up, that might not be bad to hold. Let me know. Right now, 77% are saying no, Tim, do not buy Dogecoin. And I do have to admit, I'm probably leaning towards no. To be fair, though, there's only 45 votes. We got 55 people watching right now. Go ahead and go vote in that poll. Let me know what you think. Also, smash that like button, and if you're new here, subscribe to the channel where we cover everything that you need to know about the macro, the micro, the TA, the news about Bitcoin and crypto and stocks. If that is something that you guys love, you guys have found the perfect channel. And again, I'm really excited about our new format going 90 minutes, covering a lot more details into trading and altcoins and anything else you guys want to know about. With that said, though, I do want to go ahead and read some names here before we jump into and get our macro update from Piper, and then we jump onto the charts. Our first comment of the day was a mellow fellow.
Very nice.
And he did, I don't know if he's confirming this, T-Shroom, but he did say, don't make fun of my bot. right? So he's saying don't, but to not do something, there's something that has to exist. So if he's saying don't make fun of his bot, is he acknowledging that the bot is real?
I think so. I
Yeah.
think that's a clear admission.
I think that's a confession right there that he is using a bot.
Mhm.
But congratulations to Amello Fellow's bot. He did a great job. Al Bundles is right behind him. We also think Al Bundles is using a bot, but we can't compliment his bot today because his bot came in second place. But we can congratulate Al Bundles for being the second commenter. We also have Eric Wallen here today. Shout out to him. Mr. J is here. Crypto Set Guy with the blue wrench saying hey. Poshus is here. Who else we have? Eric Wallen is here. John Con saying sup, bros. Sup, John Con. Joe Nickel is here. Who else? Got a lot of the same commenters. Oh, Crypto Ben Franklin is here. Haven't got to read Crypto Ben Franklin's name in a little bit. Everyone's favorite non-president. Elo Brown is here. I think I said it already, but Justin Eubanks. Mike Play is here. J.N. Carr. Who else do we have here? Brian D is here. Yair Navarro. Crypto JMP. Gia S is here. Ninja Glock. Crux of Crypto with the blue wrench as well. Saying first, despite the fact that that was probably the 57th comment of the chat. But, you know, you got to shoot your shot there, Crux. I see what you're doing. He said that in my mind, I'm all that matters. Interesting. Yes. Makes sense. Let's see who else is here. We got Crypto Pew Pew Cruise.
Very nice.
What a name. I think we've read that name before. That's a good name, though. Crypto Pew Pew Cruise. Crypto Trades is here. Who else do we have? Jeep Girl is here.
Oh, nice.
Josh Denham. Grand Roofing Incorporated. Zegger.
Grand Roofing Incorporated.
Alton Henderson is here. We haven't had the one that you always love to repeat. Ooh, Kelly Kellum in chat. Love having Kelly Kellum here. We need Kelly to come back on soon. I text Kelly from time to time, but I want to see his face again here. Well, I get to see his face on the show.
Yeah, we need to bring him back on.
Talk with him on our show. So we got to get Kelly back in here very soon. Army Piper with the blue wrench is here. Look at a couple more here, and then we'll move on. Joseph Roeder. I don't think I've read that one. Jeff Sullivan. Kryptonic. Cryptonodic. I don't feel like I'm saying that right. Cryptonodic. I don't know. Alex Green is here. Elliot Locke is here. The kid. This is Co-MN because it's Colorado, Minnesota. I know that because he told us that last time. Crimson Caravan Company is here. And I'm gonna get one more. Actually, I think I might. Oh, here's one more. And I think this might be everyone who has commented. That's a first. Marique Frennick. That I think we just read everyone's name that chatted. The problem is, though, I could be wrong. And if I did not say your name, it doesn't mean I don't love you. It just means it's time to go on with the show. Starting off by throwing it over to Piper this morning. Piper, what are some of the big macro events coming up very soon we should be aware of? I do believe you mentioned this morning there's a big one happening either today or tomorrow. Am I correct?
Yeah, we've got JOLTS job openings today, man. It's going to be happening here in about 52 minutes. So this is going to be the total number of jobs open, new jobs in America, or actually the total number of jobs in America that are available for people to go and get hired on that. And it's still sitting currently at 10.824 million. So there's over 10 million jobs in America sitting unfilled right now. The consensus is that it's going to drop down a little bit. It's only going to be 10.4, but the forecast is that it's going to be neutral coming in the same. So we will see how this is looking right here, here in about 51 minutes now. So we'll be
live when it happens, so we can cover that.
Yeah, we'll be live. We'll know. We'll see. I do want to point out right now that Ethereum is tearing up, and we're going to get to that in a second. I'm just watching it on my chart over here. I'm in a trade in case you don't know. I'm always in a trade. So we're looking at that JOLTS job opening coming there. The one thing that I do want to talk about, though, and point out in the macro world is Australia, their central bank, they paused their federal rate hikes today to gauge how much their quantitative tightening is impacting the economy. So this is pretty interesting here. This was the first time in 10 rate hike periods that they have not done a rate hike. So
Mm.
pretty interesting to see there. They kept it at 3.6%, so nowhere near as high as what we are with our rate hikes right now. But they kept it at 3.6%. So I just wanted to let people know, according to Seeking Alpha this morning on the newsletter I was reading, this could be a telltale sign that we're going to see some other central banks pause their rate hikes coming ahead. And, we've already talked about that here in the Federal Reserve, that they may do that also. So that's what I got there, Tim. Nothing beyond that big. Jolt's job opening report today. That's the major one today for U.S., but I wanted to touch on that Australia because that could be a telltale sign for us. So
Yeah, I think that's a big one. Flipping over to my screen, because we always kind of flip to this one right after. Will America follow? At this point, they're predicting no. 60% are predicting another 25 basis point hike. Still have almost 40% saying we pause. We got a whole month, though, 29 days until we have that answer. So a lot of things could change. We'll have to wait and see. I did want to read a comment here. The kid, again, does he want to say kid, come on? Does he want to say co-MN, co-min? I don't know. I don't think he wants to say co-men. But he said this show is awesome. Love having Army Piper. Absolutely. I can agree with that. Ever since Piper has joined the show. I mean, I always loved what T-Shroom and I did is awesome. I love T-Shroom, and I love the addition of Piper as well. This is a very dynamic trio, the three musketeers.
That's right.
Of bros. Yeah, so it is. It's awesome in having him on the team. Let's go ahead and flip over here to the chart. There's something I want to kind of address on the more micro timeline on Bitcoin here, and then we'll kind of move out and look at some other stuff. I definitely want to look at ETH this morning. Might even look at Cardano this morning, because we talked about that yesterday in the third half hour, and it's made some moves here. But we're trading and respecting this trading channel. This is something we talked about yesterday. I actually made a video on Sharp Prime's YouTube channel, a more macro outlook. When I made the video, we were still hovering here at the bottom level of this blue line. We ended up breaking out yesterday, but guess what we did? And I said this in the video. I said if we were to break below and break the support, we do have some strong support sitting right below us in this trading channel. Our wick didn't even quite get down to that yellow line, but we have still been respecting this. What I'm keeping my eye on right now, even as we are pushing, we broke through the bottom level of support. Now we're pushing up and rejected on that top one. But I also noticed going back here towards, this is March 31st. You can see that there's a very slight declining level of resistance here. So I would love to see Bitcoin pop above that, cancel out this resistance level, maybe turn it into support. But that's definitely something to keep an eye on. This is what we call a falling broadening wedge at the moment. And where am I want to connect this? Probably going to connect it right here. Traditionally, here's some good news. Traditionally, these are bullish in the same way a falling wedge is bullish, only that one's converging. Falling broadening wedges are usually bullish. It's just a question of, do we break through right here? Do we make another pullback? Like, do we bounce and reject and come all the way back down, and then we find a breakout down the road? Something I would keep an eye on here is we do have the movements here. A lot of times you see 5 waves before a breakthrough. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is the 5th wave. This could be the one we break through and move to the upside. And don't be surprised, similar to the megaphone patterns, we break up, maybe reject some over there, come back down and use it as resistance, and then, support, and then we move to the upside. Definitely keep your eyes there on that little micro falling broadening wedge is in play at the moment here on the lower time frames. Let me go ahead and get rid of those lines, though, because I want to kind of move out and talk about some other things as well. I just freaking deleted my resistance zone, my box. That's always what you want to see.
Just hit Control Z to come back.
Control Z. This is why I bring you around for Piper, because it didn't work. I think I deleted something else first before that. It's fine. Very quick fix. Let me just go ahead and do something along this line. I like these boxes right in here. Come on out. There we go. And I'm going to go right in here with our little fake breakout. There we go. All right. We're fixed. Everything's all right. Let's take a look. Let's zoom back out here and take a look at some things. This is another thing I talked about yesterday. Going to continue to keep our eyes on it using the Sharp Prime oscillator. Yesterday, we discussed the fact that we got 2 big bearish signals with this peak seeker as well as bearish divergence. Well, this green candle we're currently in is working to get out of that and to cancel out this bearish call. Again, I emphasize the importance of these signals, either A, signaling to the downside, or B, you guys should use this. It wouldn't be like, if we don't go down, this is not saying, oh man, the charts are failing us, TA is not working. If anything, that shows you the strength that the bulls have, that despite the fact that the price was sitting in an overbought territory, we continue to move to the upside. That is what happens during bull markets. So we're going to continue to keep our eyes on that. There's not a whole lot different. So I'm probably going to go ahead and switch over and do some other coins here in just a second. But let's pull up some other details and just check back in. Of course, we're well above our dynamic reactor here on the daily chart. Let me see what the 4-hour chart looks like. Are we getting anywhere close to that? We're kind of staying hovering above this upper gold band on the predictive range on the 4-hour chart, which is the bottom level of this form of support right here. So that is still a good sign for the bulls. Didn't quite get down. We talked about the possibility of coming back down and touching the 4-hour dynamic reactor yesterday. We didn't quite get it. So that's another one. It's going to keep climbing as price stays above it. We're going to see this green line continue to climb. Are we going to just go ahead and take off? Are we going to come back and touch it? Let me see what the hourly chart is doing. I think this one, and I can go ahead and take down the predictive ranges. We're kind of flirting with. We've turned this dynamic reactor on the hourly chart into a sideways moving action, continually flipping from red to green. So this is just more confirmation about we're in a trading channel at the moment. We're in a boring sideways movement. But as I said earlier, looking at those resistance levels, I do believe there's a good chance with a falling broadening wedge that we could have a breakout coming very, very soon. Now, I'm going to actually throw it to Piper for the next coin because he is very excited about it, and he trades this on the daily basis. I want to take a look at Ethereum this morning, but Piper, I'm going to let you do so. So go ahead and take it away.
Awesome. Thanks, Tim. So yeah, looking at Ethereum, I put out yesterday in the newsletter. If you guys have not seen the newsletter, you need to get a hold of it. Grab that thing. There's a link for it in the Investing Bros Discord. And if you are not in the Investing Bros Discord, you can also grab a link off of T-Shroom's Twitter. So he dropped a link to the Discord on his Twitter, and you can also get to the Discord below in the link. So go there, get that newsletter. We talked about this yesterday, and I said it was highly likely that we would see a breakout this week on Ethereum because it had been trading below at 786, but I was seeing some stuff down here on the oscillator that was giving me a lot of bullish signs. I'm looking at a 4-hour chart here right now. So yesterday, about the time that we put it out, we did have an attempt to get above the platinum pocket there, and we rejected back down, ultimately coming down to about 1766 on a wick down right here. And then this morning, there we go. We broke it. We are now closed a candle above and have now opened a new candle above inside of the 786 and the 886 for the platinum pocket here. So I'm watching that. Also, if I go over and I turn on the smart money concepts, you can see that we are now above the delta also, which was another point of contention that I talked about on the newsletter because it had been aligning perfectly with the 786 on the fibs. So now we are above that, and what I'm seeing is that we are looking at about 1935, 1920 to 1935, this range right here, where this target could be heading up to. I will be looking for it to reject at this point just because it is the platinum pocket and the upper trade band. Normally we trade between these two gold lines on the predictive ranges. So I would be looking for a pullback at about 1935. Potentially just a wick up to there with a candle closing below 1920 on this platinum pocket for a pullback. And I do suspect that we're probably going to range inside of this platinum pocket for a little while. Not exactly sure how much, but what I do want to point out is that when we do have these movements come in Ethereum after Bitcoin has a big move, in comparison, Bitcoin, looking at its platinum pocket, it's still below it. And it's just ranging sideways. So Ethereum is having a breakout that Bitcoin is not seeing. Bitcoin had one that Ethereum didn't see. And typically when we see Bitcoin move, then go into ranging consolidation, Ethereum moves. And shortly after that, Tim, alts move. So I am now waiting to see my alt bag start to move off of this because Ethereum has now breached that doorway. So.
Yeah, I think there's a decent chance in the more micro timeline we might see a small alt move. I'm still going to hold to. I think we're going to continue to watch news develop that keeps us from going into a true bull market where alts outpace Bitcoin. I think there's a chance that we see Bitcoin climb with alts not far behind, but not outpacing Bitcoin. And then a big dump is coming to the market. And then the bull market where alts go crazy comes later this year / early next year. Go back to my screen real quick before, everything that he just talked about on Ethereum is great. I wanted to mention one more thing, though, using the Chart Prime multi-time frames. What I have mine set up, and everyone is a little different, but I have found a lot of success trading some different things using this multi-time frame. And you're looking at 3 different colors lines. You're looking at green, you're looking at golden, and then red. I'm looking at the 12-hour chart predictions. I'm looking at the 4-hour chart and the daily chart. And notice, and you see this in a lot of coins, there's all these areas of bunching up. Watch how Ethereum, after breaking through, we kind of found some support down here. We broke up, hit our head on this little flat level of resistance, used that to come back down to the next fat layer of support right here. We found that as support. We broke up, and now this bunch, after breaking through it, it has been used as strong support. Look at where the next bunch is to the upside. That's all the way up here towards 2,082. That's a little higher than what Piper was talking about, so definitely keep an eye on the levels he was discussing, closer towards that 1970. But another thing I'm going to mention here is we were in a rising wedge pattern traditionally. This is bearish. We had a breakout of it, and then we came down, hit the support, broke back up. I'm no longer looking at this formation and expecting a bearish breakout, but I wanted to keep the lines of resistance and support. And as you guys can see when zooming in, we respected, after coming back up into them, we respected these levels very much so. Look at all of this resistance on this red line, the support back on the blue line. And at the moment, it's too early. We got to get this daily candle to close. We got to start opening and closing daily candles above this red line. But we are making another Ethereum move to break bullishly above resistance. That would be very, very good thing. Let's take a look at Cardano. Yesterday, we discussed this just a little bit here. I'm going to keep up the multi-time frame. You guys are noticing. I'll show you what I'm talking about even. Let's go back to Bitcoin for a quick second. There was a bunch down here that we had to get back above, and we used as support. And now we're struggling with another bunch right up here. If we can break through on Bitcoin, we got a long run before the next level. In fact, there's not even one up there. I'm going to have to redo some charts. The same thing with Bitcoin that we saw on Ethereum with these multi-time frame bunches being used as strong support and resistance. We're also seeing something similar on Cardano. Now, there's not a lot of support down here because Cardano is one of the projects, we've been saying this for months, and it's still as true today as it was back then. It is one of the most oversold projects. It is one of the lowest ones that has the most room to the upside if it catches fire. That's what Cardano does. But notice we're wrestling right now with a fat bunch right here between 38 cents and about 40 cents. Then we got a nice little package. Both of these, this would be the 4-hour chart and the daily chart, are both having the strongest levels of support and resistance being right here at 42.43. That's because that was the last peak we had in November. If we can break through that, watch for Cardano to shoot up to 53 cents before a next level of strong resistance. There's going to be some levels between there that we might hesitate on, but I'm watching for that level right there as well. We talked about this more yesterday during trading, and it's not quite getting down. It's not done yet, but we discussed this potential double bottom, and I want to just kind of an education moment for you guys. And we talked about it a little bit yesterday, but anyone who didn't stay for the last half hour, I'm going to show you guys what you're missing so that you stay maybe today in the future to get some trading tips. What we're watching for on Cardano right now, we're looking at this double bottom potential and seeing, will this break out? There still is a chance we pull back down to the 4-hour dynamic reactor. I discussed the bearish scenario being down here towards 36 cents, which is still a support level of a rising channel. But what we're watching for right here, because we did get a nice little double bottom. When you're looking at double bottoms, watch where the price bounces up to. It comes all the way up here towards 40.83 cents. And then we came back down. We had our double bottom. To effectively trade a double bottom, what we are looking for is not just a move back up to this same level, but we're looking for a breakthrough of that level. That is then when you trade. And what you usually do is you take the length of this opening of the double bottom from the first touch of support to the first touch of resistance, and you can make a price prediction that would then come all the way up to 44 cents. That is how you trade that. Now, I would probably say if we get a breakthrough, what I'm looking for is to take profit up here at 43, and then I'll wait for a regroup and then know that we're probably making a push up towards 44. However, if we reject, and let me get rid of this one right here too, if we reject, this is simply just another trading channel that you're going to have to be a little bit more patient on. If we come back up and we reject here again, more than likely we're coming back down to find confluence here on the rising support, and this probably we're going to see a combination of a lot of things. Rising level of support, a tripled bottom now on support line, a dynamic reactor coming up. This would be a very golden opportunity to buy. And so what I'm trying to get at here, when you're looking at these double bottoms, make sure you wait for confirmation. You're waiting for confirmation of a breakthrough through 40 cents, or you're looking at, if we reject right here to come back down, your next buy level is 37.12 cents again, because that would be forming a trading channel. There would be 3 different things confirming this is a strong level of support. And now what you're looking at, because trading channels trade almost the exact same once they break out as our double bottoms, now you're not only looking at potentially an entry point from 37 to then take profit back up at 40. Now you have a trade set up where you can go all the way from here. That would be a 20%, over 20% rally on Cardano. Very, very interesting trade setup. So either way, you're looking at a good spot. Is it 10%? Is it 20? Make sure you keep your eyes on the charts and learn how to read these types of formations and breakouts. This is going to be the difference between you being a good trader and a bad trader. Let's keep moving on, though. Let's take a look this morning at, of course, the big mover from yesterday. Let's go look at Doge. Now, Dogecoin, I'll keep up this multi-time frame. We just sliced right through this little bunch right here. Ended up hitting our head on this number 3 level. I think my green, let me go look at my settings so you guys can see my settings and how I have this set up here. Green is my 12-hour. So anytime you're seeing the green lines, that's on the 12-hour chart. It's just giving you strong levels of support and resistance. My orange ones are my 4-hour and my red are my daily. We just rejected right here. We did get a predicted reversal down that was a good call after this wick, but the fact that we're pressing back up is a bullish sign for Dogecoin. Here's another tall tale sign. Is this going to be a bull trend? Right now, we just got a triple bearish flash. So I'm going to start off by saying, traditionally, when you get this 3 combo right here, you probably should short. And it's probably not a bad idea to short Dogecoin even for a little bit. But this is a tall tale sign. Are we going to respect the bearish divergence, the overbought flash, and the red reversal triangle, or are we going to ignore it, which would be such a strong bullish trend movement, would be proof that Dogecoin is going to be crazy? And here's what I'll say. While traditionally, if this was any other project other than Dogecoin, I might be shorting it right now. Dogecoin is such an emotional project. And I want to hear what you have to say about this too, Piper. But Dogecoin is such an emotional project that anytime Elon speaks, it moves up. And if he speaks well about it, it moves up. And anytime there's crazy tall tale, Kelly, thank you for correcting me. I'm a king of mixing those sentences up. Is it telltale? Is it telltale sign?
Yes.
I'm going to say tall tale sign because that sounds more fun.
Oh, you've said that before. I just didn't correct you because it doesn't matter.
Yeah, language is fun.
I like both. I like both of them.
That derived my point. Thank you, Kelly, though. Dogecoin is such an emotionally traded coin that sometimes these signals do not always make a lot of sense, especially if we're making bullish case right here. I think the excitement of Dogecoin for right now has worn off, but we'll have to wait and see. Watch this signal. Watch as this continues to play out. Was there anything else I wanted to check out here before I throw it over to you, Piper? Let me take a look. I want to pull up, and I'm going to take down our chart prime. By the way, if you guys love these chart prime signals, we have a link down below. With our link, you get 45% off your first month or your first quarter. You guys in our Discord see us use this all the time. This is like my new go-to. I love traditional TA as well, but man, ever since I found Chart Prime, that is my like easy sign to enter and exit trades. Yeah, we hit our head on a nice level of resistance here with our fixed range volume. We're hovering right now in a little bit of a valley. So can we hold up and find support there? Or do we start to make a little bit of a climb up, and it's like a climb down a mountain, but up a mountain? The level of support you'd be looking at is closer towards 8.6 cents. Piper, what are your thoughts about Dogecoin right now? What are your thoughts about these bearish signals we see flashing? Are you looking to ignore them, or do you think those are going to be good calls?
So looking at what I've got going on here with Doge, Tim, I think we're going to get a pullback here. If you actually look, we got rejected off of I told you guys, trade bands, right? Right there, top trade band of predictive ranges on the 1 hour. We had the reversal down. We also had the bearish engulfing candle here that took place. What I do want to point out is on the 4 hour, We actually hit the upper resistance line of the predictive ranges, and that's normally like a really bad spot to get rejected on, because if you get rejected there, it typically comes back down into its trade channel. So I don't know that it's going to come all the way down to the lower band, but I definitely could see it coming down to its delta again, back here to these previous lows that it had. One thing that I am seeing, though, is if I throw on the fibs from its all-time high to its local low, we actually have right now the rejection that occurred on the 328 right here, just to show you like how powerful this fib setup was. It actually rejected on the 50% line. Anything below that bearish way back in December of 2022. So so many months ago there. But yeah, I think we're going to see some pullback here unless Elon gives it another injection of some activity. But looking at the 1 hour here, I just want to show you real fast that we did get our bounce right on the dynamic reactor. It's been our support for a long time, for months. So getting this break up here on top of it here, that was a amazing launch. You could have gotten any time off of this dynamic reactor, set your take profit 1, take profit 2, and just called it a day. So yeah, I think we're going to see some more pullback, but I'd be looking at like 9.2 cents is what I'd be seeing, Tim.
Yeah, I think another thing, let's go back to my screen one more time, and we're probably going to wrap up our macro TA, and this wasn't really macro because we're doing micro stuff, but we'll go more detail.
Oh, yeah, I was going to point that out, that we were in the Rising channel too. Yep.
Yeah, we got a lot. Oh, you saw the same thing. Yeah, so this one.
Yeah, I just meant to mention.
This is a 30-minute chart. A lot of things can change. First of all, we are well above our 30-minute dynamic reactor. That could be another one we fall back down. A lot of confluence actually kind of popping up here around this point, the 8.6 cent region. But yeah, as we're building these red candles, notice we just came out of this is a rising trading channel, which similar to rising wedges traditionally break to the downside. Let's see just what is this length it would say we should fall down to if we were to break out, if this continues. It doesn't send us all the way down. It actually only sends us down towards 9.1 cent or so.
Which is about what I was saying, 9.2. Yeah. So
it'll be interesting. So there is some confluence to go all the way down into the 8 cent region. But right now, I would, keep an eye on that 9 cent region on Dogecoin. If you are trading it, is going to be interesting. Like I said, it's a little fickle, but here we go. The last thing I'm going to do here, we got bearish on the 30-minute chart. We got bearish 2 double signals. We got a red reversal. There's 3 of them. Peak seeker, red reversal, and bearish divergence forming over here. Let's see the hourly chart. Hourly chart, come on, load for me there. Not necessarily anything. We have some hidden bearish divergence forming, but the hourly chart isn't necessarily as bearish as the others. But here's where we start getting really bearish. 4-hour chart. We got our triple signal I already talked about. 12-hour chart. Let's see what it is saying. I'm sure it is flashing over bot as well. Yeah, we just got that orange box came in here on this oscillator. Again, if you guys purchase Chart Prime, just this oscillator alone makes it 130% worth every penny you spend. And then again, out here on the daily chart, we have a double flash, I believe. I think we have an overbought and a red triangle once it loads. Come on now for me. Internet is fun. There we go. Yes, we had our red triangle and our overbought. So I'm looking at this right now and saying, hey, is it possible that Dogecoin ignores all of this? Absolutely. Because Elon Musk could take to Twitter today and say that I'm now only allowing people to pay for their Twitter blues and whatever in Dogecoin. And that could, pump. He could do that kind of stuff. He can just tweet out the word Dogecoin and we might see another 20% rally. But for now, the charts are definitely flashing. It's not continuation time. It might be time to at least take some profits, let it cool off before something else happens. With that said, though, it is 9:33. It is time to transition over to some stocks with T Shroom, but make sure everybody who's in chat right now, we got almost 130 people watching, which is amazing, but we only have 65 likes. And my math is not perfect. I'm not the best mathematician in the world has ever seen, but that's about 50%. And you know what? That's El Poo-Poo. This channel can definitely do better than 50% likes. That's one of the advantages of being a small channel is you can have your like to view ratio be in the golden pocket above 80 cents, not golden pocket, platinum pocket, above 80 cents. So go ahead and smash that like button. And again, if you're new here, subscribe to the channel, the tall tale signs. Anything else? Was there any other jokes we should make before we transition to stocks, T-Shroom?
I don't think so.
You're not a fan of jokes?
Today, this is just not a laughing matter. Okay. This is a very serious show.
That's true.
We wear hoodies and t-shirts, and it's very serious. So let's go ahead and move in to the market open. Guys, I've got an Ethereum chart pulled up here because that's what I'm most excited about this morning. But let's go ahead and look at the indexes, which are green across the screen, except for the Dow. So the Dow is coming in barely red, down 0.04%, whereas the S&P and the NASDAQ are barely green, up about 0.05%. So not really moving in any direction this morning. But oil is continuing to trend higher. So let's take a look, because this has been an important headline here, and oil is up above $81 per barrel. It is above that dynamic reactor there on the weekly chart, pretty significantly. Let's see what percentage, about call it 6% off that dynamic reactor. So it is moving and it is grooving. It is a good bit away from its premium level here again on the weekly chart. So definitely something to watch. And I believe it was Goldman Sachs I saw on Zero Hedge this morning. Goldman Sachs is predicting that oil will just continue to go higher, as there will be shortages further into the future of oil. So something to watch, maybe something to invest in for some upside in oil, way to diversify to moving into what could be a recession in 2023. Green across the screen here in crypto, putting a big smile on my face. A lot of this sparked by Dogecoin that we've been covering here thoroughly, and that we'll get to also in the stories here in just a bit. Green on the screen for both silver and gold. Silver in the lead, they're up 0.7%, almost up 1% there on the day. That's kind of curious. I'm not really sure what the story would be there for gold and for metals, but your mega cap tech stocks making a comeback today. They were down yesterday. They're making a comeback. Microsoft and Apple are lagging, though, not yet green, and Tesla is leading the way, 1.7% to the upside. Bond yields are up this morning. Let's see, looks like the 10 years leading the way on the yields, up 1.7% to be at 3.47. The 2-year is at 4. So that is pretty interesting, guys. There's some pretty interesting times we live in from a bond perspective. But cannabis is red across the screen. Folks not liking it, getting out of it here this morning. And then your micro-capped, I say that almost every time. Micro-cap, it's like once every 2 weeks.
There we go.
Micro-cap tech stocks
It's the tall tale sign about it.
Yeah, just they're up. Okay,
Yes.
They're up, except C3.ai. Let's take a look at that one. That is down almost 9%. So getting a heavy correction this morning is C3.ai, as that AI story is, I think I know what this is actually. There's a company, let's see if I can do this quickly. Let's see if I can go over here. There's an AI company that was going berserk this morning, and I'll go ahead. Bullfrog AI Holdings. Now be careful, because this is a market cap of 26 million, very small company here, but they are up quite a bit, 76% on the day. I don't know what the fundamental news on that is, but they more than likely got bought, or they got some kind of speculation or whatever. But anyway, that's more than likely money coming out of C3.ai to go pump that stock, Bullfrog. Moving into our oil producers are still green today after the huge spike yesterday. They're not giving it up. They just want more. They're going green. They're going higher. And the big banks are doing just the opposite, with Bank of America leading down lower, 0.4%. Let's go ahead and get into the stories, because we've got a couple here. Guys, you know what's going on. And so does NPR.
Well, hold on a second. We
What's
have
up?
a new flow to the show.
Okay.
Because before we move from stocks into our news talk, we have to do our promos.
That's right. And the biggest one that I'm probably excited, I am excited about, is definitely consensus. And consensus is in 3 days, the price is going to be increasing. So you want to get them fast. You want to get them now. You want to get them right now. Mm-hmm. How do you do that? You go into our video, and you go down to the description. You're on the video you're already watching down here. This link at the very bottom, you get 15% off using the code BROS. So just click that link. You get 15% off. You're going to have a lot of fun. What are some of the details about this event? Well, you're going to be joining the most important conversation in crypto and Web3. Now, T-Shroom, when are the dates for this? Well, the dates are April 26th through the 27th, and it's going to be in Austin, Texas. Look at the background video of this. Look how much fun these people are having. And that's even without T-Shroom being there. So that's going to be pretty cool for me to be there, and for everybody to come and get to meet us in person and for us to meet you in person, much more importantly. So go
and
ahead.
We get to just party on the surface of the sun.
That's right.
In Austin, Texas.
That's right. 15% off today, guys. And the price is only going up here in about 3 days and 14 hours. So go ahead and get them while they're hot. And Tim, is there anything else that we wanted to tell the good people about today?
We do need to let people know tomorrow we will be joined by Magic Internet Money coming in to do some TA, especially on Bitcoin, but I'm going to pry him into some altcoins and maybe some traditional finance as well. So make sure you come back tomorrow where Magic Internet Money joins the show. Keep an eye out. We're going to have some dynamic guests here in the future. So you guys don't want to miss a single episode of the Investing Bros. And with that said, T-Shroom, I believe we can jump into the news talk.
I think we can, but before we do that, there's one link I want to show you guys here, which is the free Discord.
Yes.
Now, this Discord has been popping off. We were talking about Doge, and Doge spiked, right? So these are the kind of things you can expect in the Discord, and it's free. And we also have Patreon that you can sign up for if you've been watching us for a few days, maybe even a few weeks, and you're like, man, these guys are legit. These guys are the real deal. Maybe you've made a little bit of money or haven't lost too much money based off some of the news we've been bringing you, then maybe it's time for you to go ahead and join that Patreon and show us a little love. Speaking of showing a little love, Elon Musk has really pulled the trigger on Dogecoin. And we've talked about it a lot in terms of the price action, but let's talk about it from the media perspective. NPR and CNN have both taken notice, and it wasn't just them. There's all across the media landscape. They're jumping on this story. Why? Well, because everybody loves a good Elon Musk story, but it also has to do with your favorite bird, Twitter, right? And so it's everywhere. And what is it specifically? Well, if you go to Twitter, the little tweeter bird has been replaced with the Dogecoin. Now, this throws fire on the speculation in a good way, increases the flames of the fire of speculation on what could be right around the corner, which is for Doge to underpin a system that verifies profiles on Twitter. And you could maybe even pay for Twitter Blue at a discount if you were to pay in Doge. There's all kinds of ways that this could be stimulating the price of Doge and increasing the transactions per day on the Doge blockchain. So it's only looking up for Doge. This comes at a time where, I mean, just my own personal analysis on price, this comes at a time where, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Doge, but mainly Bitcoin and Ethereum have been up against a major line of resistance where if they can get up above it, then that could be very beneficial. So you could interpret this as Elon kind of throwing his weight behind crypto and seeing if we can get Ethereum up above the major line of resistance, which it looks like it did today. So, or at least one that it needed to get up above. All right, moving along.
Well,
Okay.
I want to just point out a very thing that probably no one really thought about.
Yeah.
But I'm a big fan of Twitter changing from the bird to a Dogecoin, a dog for a long term. I think some people think that a Shiba. I think a lot of people think that this is temporary. I hope it's long term. And I know this sounds silly, but there is some psychology to this a little bit. I understand it's called Twitter. I understand the point of Twitter is that it's playing on the tweets of birds.
Mm-hmm.
But guess what Twitter is becoming slowly but surely? One of the most trusted places to find news. And I know some people, mainstream media is going to try to say no. But those of us watching this channel, those of us in the crypto world, we know if you want to find out what's happening, do not go to CNN, do not go to Fox, do not go to CNBC, do not go to Twitter, right? Yeah. Twitter is actually pretty reliable.
Yeah.
But guess what? You're supposed to be able to trust where you're getting your news. We should be able to trust Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
Guess what you cannot trust? Birds. You can't trust birds.
It's true.
Show me one species of a bird that you can look at and say, I can trust what that bird is thinking.
I definitely can't trust a peacock.
You cannot trust any of them. And so dogs, on the other hand, dogs are very loving creatures who want to do nothing but please their owner. They want to be there with you all along the way. Yes, do they make mistakes? Do they poop?
Not break out of the yard?
Yeah, they try to escape the yard. But even that, I think what he was doing, when Beamer, we're talking about Beamer now, my dog, when he tries to escape the yard, he's actually trying to go out and conquer more land for me because he thinks that will please me.
Interesting.
So I'm a big fan of the symbol. And I saw someone else say this, like, what if we change the name from Twitter to Barker or something?
Yeah.
So that we just get away from the bird
Woof.
altogether.
Woof from The Office.
Woof from The Office. There might be some copyright issues if we go Woof from The Office.
Maybe.
But I know that sounds like a joke, but I mean, I'm actually a big fan of this. I will say also, the other thing I'll say is who else struggled to get the update? I didn't get it. I was telling T-Shim this morning. This morning I was saying, I still don't see the dog on my Twitter page. It still is a bird. And then as I was saying it, it changed on me. And I now have the dog. I have the Shiba Inu officially on my Twitter page.
Good.
Yeah, I also want to get, I know that was kind of a joke of a response. I think it's a good thing overall. I want to hear what Piper has to say, what he thinks about this Twitter change. And we need to start changing, Piper, a new update to the channel. You guys can see right underneath us, you see our Twitter handles. We need to change that little bird into a Shiba Inu now.
Yeah.
I so missed the mark on doing that. We should have done that today.
We should have done.
You can follow us on Twitter right here on our Doge logo there.
Yeah.
So I have trust issues when it comes to Doge and when it comes to Elon Musk with Doge relating to Doge. So, and that is a story that we will tell in TA Talk tomorrow in our Discord over on Chart Prime, because we have a private show tomorrow and we will talk about that, Tim.
Okay, sounds good. Well, it's a teaser, so you guys got to go in and join and be a part of that. But now, T-Shirm, I know you wanted to move on with the news, but I just felt like we needed to camp out for a second. We can proceed with news talk.
I think we've got plenty of time to really kind of snuggle into some of these stories, which will be good. Before we do, let's check out this last comic here. This was posted by the Doge King himself, Elon Musk.
Yeah, that was good.
And it said, that's an old photo talking to a cop as Doge has just been pulled over. So
John Conn in chat just said we need to change it. So instead of using a Shiba Inu, we should just change our Twitter symbols into Beamer.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I think that we'll talk about it, because I think a lot of people may be confused by that.
Some people would definitely be confused.
But that might be the point. Confusion might be the new strongest branding strategy out there. Well, speaking of branding strategies, the S&P Global plans decentralized finance push as it looks for a DeFi director. S&P Global, well, you may not know what this is. Every day we reference these indexes over here. The SPY is the S&P, or the S&P is an index that is managed by the S&P. The S&P is also a ratings company. So just to give a little bit of context, it's a very big player in the financial industry. It's an institution because it's one of those companies that says, oh, Tesla just got upgraded or Tesla just got downgraded. It's one of those companies that its upgrades and downgrades matters very much. And also it is the index of history. Other than the Dow Jones, it is taken the most seriously from an index standpoint. Okay, so they are important, and they are looking into decentralized finance. In fact, they are looking to hire a director. Let's get into it here. A little bit of the details. S&P Global's hiring for the space signals how mainstream interest continues to grow despite cryptocurrencies that have tumbled from their 2021 highs and the myriad bankruptcies that have shattered the sector. So that is pretty accurate, I'd say. And despite all of the bad press that crypto has been getting, the S&P, the good folks over there, are still thinking that there's so much more room to grow that they want to go ahead and hire a DeFi director to help chart a course for how S&P can grow into the crypto space. So very interesting there, very exciting. I don't know how much of an opinion you guys would have other than yippee and just cheering it on. But I'll give you a second. Piper or Tim, did you have thoughts on this? Okay, cool. So moving along, we've got a next story here. This is Citigroup is predicting, and in case you don't know, Citigroup is one of I think it's in the top 5 largest banks in the world, predicts an 80x explosion in tokenization and forecasts a timeline for mass adoption of digital assets. Guys, this is a really big and exciting headline. Like, this is not a headline that's like, oh, okay, some bank is saying something. I would say that this is close to being, I wouldn't put it exactly, but this is, in my mind, this is close to being on par with Fidelity opening up crypto to their 401k holders. Like, this is a TradFi or institution, and we're getting 2 of these. We've got one from the S&P and one from Citigroup today, really throwing their weight behind crypto at a time when crypto is needing its weight. It's almost up above a major line of resistance that it could flip into support. And if that happens, we obviously know that could put crypto in a different footing on the financials in the financial markets. Citi says that mass adoption of blockchain will likely be sparked by the implementation of central bank digital currencies, as well as the rise of blockchain-based gaming projects and social media payments. The bank highlights that it expects an 80x growth in the tokenization of real-world assets. So that is something we've been talking about on the Discord for a little while. On the Bro Time, we've been talking about aspects of this and kind of speculating on what the future might look like. It's very interesting. If you want to read more of that, you can go to icg.city.com/icghome/what we think /city GPS/insights/money tokens and games. That's where you can find this. Maybe I'll put the link in Discord. That's a much better way to link you guys to this. But this is interesting. You can download the full report. Again, why do I think this is important? Well, because Citibank is in the top 5 banks in the world, and they, like the S&P this morning, are in the press because they're throwing their weight behind crypto. Well, it's not all fun and games. It's not all really good press for crypto this morning. Unfortunately, CZ has been undergoing some FUD. We're going to go through this pretty quickly, but he has tweeted out how FUD starts. And basically, there has been some disinformation going around that there's a red notice for CZ, and this is fake. This is not real. A red notice is basically tantamount to the CIA issuing a warrant for someone's arrest, but this is just Interpol's version of that. So that's what a red notice is. I think there was an actual red notice for Do Kwon at one point. But anyway, that's fake. That's not real. If you're seeing it around the world, it's not real. Okay, moving around to
I think it was, I don't know, are you staying on this story?
Not really. Go ahead.
Because I saw he was talking about this on Twitter this morning in more detail. There's nothing other than crypto news outlets kind of posting this. It's not even like mainstream media is talking about this. It's crypto. And he kind of pointed out how sad it is of this new layer of FUD. He's like, you expect it from like the government. You expect it from traditional finance people. You should expect it from centralized authorities that want fiat currency to remain in power. He's like, what's really sad is when it's just coming from other crypto people. And he's like, this is a time that we need to beat. Like, there's so many things against the crypto industry as a whole right now. But yet we're still bickering amongst ourselves, trying to take each other down. And this is just not the time for that. And then again, I'm not going to sit here and say that I'm the biggest CZ fan in the world. I think that's a man who's done a lot of good things, a lot of bad things. I tell everyone, don't trust Binance in the sense of like, just leave your money there and walk away. You should put your money in cold wallets. But he has shown time and time again that he can stand up to the FUD. He's got the money backing it. He can pay the fines if he did something wrong. That again, it's such a crazy world in crypto right now, where the SEC can just tell you did something wrong without ever having a rule there that you violated. But he's been able to afford the fines, and anyone who wants to pull their money out of Binance, they have the money backed up there. I think it's time that people trust that Binance is still a solid institution. And then again, focus our anger and attention. Because guess what? People have anger and people have anger. People have frustrations. People, we as humans, we are prone to want to call out evil, and we want to go against something. We want to stand for something. We want justice. Well, guess what? Sometimes you need to have a common enemy, and that's what's most powerful. Crypto people need to stop bickering themselves. The XRP army and the Cardano community, they need to stop arguing. We need to bond together to realize the enemy right now is governments, centralized authorities, banks, and the face of all that, or at least she's trying to, Auntie Beth, Elizabeth Warren. We need to combine against people like that, not against each other, and just try to step on each other's heads to get ahead. That sentence was step on each other's heads to get ahead. Yeah. It's a good sentence, but it probably was constructed poorly. I don't know.
Absolutely. Well, what I'll say, and it may be unpopular to say something like this. This is not the Finland stuff yet. Just my final note on this story is why would these crypto news outlets be coming out against Binance? Well, Binance doesn't really need to pay for a lot of ads anymore, right? I mean, they have some things that they're trying to push, but they're just the no duh option that a lot of YouTubers just kind of will list in their recommendations for exchanges to use, just because they've been around. They're one of the longest. They're not Coinbase, but they're Binance, right? And so when you're Binance and you're not in the market for a lot of ads, you're not looking to buy ads. You're not going to put smiles on the faces of mainstream crypto news channels such as CoinDesk, Decrypt, Cointelegraph, things like that. Whereas there's other up and coming exchanges that very much need to get the word out, and so they're willing to shell out dollars for advertising. That's true. So you can see how there's some incentives that are aligned there in order to get a product that is those news agencies not being incentivized to defend Binance at every turn. So that's the way that I'll phrase that. And you can read between the lines. Speaking of reading in between the lines, no, just kidding. There's not a transition for that. Here's the next news, guys. Finland is set to join NATO, dealing a major blow to Russia.
An interesting spot for a
Piper's excited
but I
about this
love it.
story. I don't know that. I mean, okay. By Finland becoming a full-fledged member, we are now removing the room for miscalculation in Moscow about NATO's readiness to protect Finland, and that makes Finland safer, stronger, and all of us safer, Stoltenberg said. Yes, and also Finland's entry to be marked with a flag-raising ceremony at NATO headquarters falls on the organization's very own birthday, the 74th anniversary of the signing of its founding in Washington Treaty on April 4th, 1949. It also coincides with the meeting of the alliance's foreign ministries. So I'm sure there's going to be a lot of pomp and circumstance for the entry of Finland there into NATO. Very, very interesting. And of course, if you did not know, what is NATO? What is this NATO you speak of? Well, we've got a lot of folks in the chat who more than likely live in a NATO country. This would include Canada, the United States, Alaska. Just kidding. I know Alaska's part of the United States. Although, don't put it past me to not know some geography sometimes. Iceland, Norway, United Kingdom. I'm not going to name them all here, but it's the majority of Europe and North America minus Mexico. And then Finland is being added today. So that's this guy right here. Sweden is likely to join here in the coming weeks and will more than likely be a member of NATO by the end of May.
I was going to say that'd be weird if Finland gets in and Sweden's nowhere close to the
Right,
process.
right. Now, what I will say is that there have been NATO countries that have been on the border of Russia for some time. Estonia and Latvia. Do I know when they joined the NATO? No. Of course, I don't know that, but they have been on the border of Russia for some time. So that is not the issue here. It's just certain, military bases that are likely in this area or something along those lines. So Piper, absolutely. I'm going to throw it over to you, as you have been in the part of the military for a very long time. Give us your thoughts on this. This is obviously something you're very bullish on, Finland joining, given the air horn. So go ahead and take it away. What are your thoughts on this?
Well, I've served with NATO twice, T-Shroom. So this is exciting for me because it creates, Russia in the 80s, they had the Iron Curtain, right? So we are now creating this NATO wall here, and it's just a matter of time, that we start to isolate Russia off over there and all of their shenanigans, and put Putin into a position where he realizes that NATO's closing all around him. So, I would like to see Georgia added to that list over there. I think that would be good. The Georgians I've served with them. The Armenians, I've served with them. They do a lot of things with NATO, but they're not officially NATO countries yet. So it's great. Anytime that we can see that NATO expansion over there, given that unified front, it's a deterrent, and I am all about deterrence because nobody wants peace more than a soldier. So,
gotcha. Well, there's obviously quite a bit more to say about this NATO and Russia and Finland, but today the big story is that Finland has joined. I believe by the end of the day, they will be part of NATO, and in many people's minds, they are now part of NATO, functionally de facto part of NATO. So that is a big deal today, as Europe and North America kind of throw their weight behind this conflict on against Russia very, very clearly, and I don't see a reason really to go against that for the most part. Well, speaking of going against things, Jamie Dimon says that the banking crisis is not over and will cause repercussions for years to come. So there he is, Jamie Dimon. If you don't know, he is the CEO there of JP Morgan, which is the top of the food chain when it comes to banks, full stop. And he says, as I write this letter, the current crisis is not yet over. And even when it is behind us, there will be repercussions from it for years to come. The longtime CEO said in his annual letter to shareholders on Tuesday. So that letter is very important, but important recent events are nothing like what occurred during the 2008 global financial crisis. So kind of giving it a peg to 2008 and saying it's definitely below that peg. All right. And then it gets into some of the things that we already know. But here's some more quotes. Too big to fail. Yeah. So, but Diamond JP Morgan wants to strengthen the smaller banks for the benefit of the whole financial system. Sounds like some great lip service there, Jamie.
I was going to say,
any crisis that damages Americans' trust in their banks damages all banks, a fact that was well known before this crisis. While it is true that this banking crisis benefited larger banks due to the inflow of deposits, they receive from smaller institutions. The notion that this meltdown was good for them in any way is absurd, Damie wrote. Okay, again, lip service, but hey, at least he's acknowledging it. Exists.
Last week the Biden administration came out and said that they're predicting that there's going to be continue crisis for banks. Some people wondered. I saw several people say like, "Oh, is this reason to think that the banking crisis is over?" And just because people in politics lie, and it's like, well, you got to know what their motives are.
Mm-hmm.
And this goes even further into what their motives are. Jamie Dimon saying that he thinks that the banking crisis is continuing. You got to first of all remember who Jamie Dimon is. He just lies. He likes to lie to manipulate spaces so that he can ultimately do what he wants to do. I think it just comes with the job. It wasn't just him. Every single CEO of JP Morgan since its existence has been known to try to manipulate the retail investor to get them in and out of things at the opportune time so that they can pounce and make the biggest profit possible. And let's just think through this. Very large bank. And he says with his mouth, I want to strengthen small banks so that we keep the structure good. Does anyone actually believe that? Jamie Dimon, I mean, to be honest, to his shareholders, doesn't he want to be as powerful as possible and make as much money as possible? Buying out these little banks is exactly what he would love to do. He would love to see the small guy fall so that he can swoop in and purchase more and grow his name as the CEO of JP Morgan, make the stockholders happy, make the what do they call the chairman's happy. This I believe is nothing but lip service. This is nothing but another lie. And again, I'm not saying he's lying and saying that the banking crisis is not going to continue. Here's what he's doing. When he says this, and we have the White House saying this, what do you think that does to the American people and their confidence in their banking system? It makes them very, very concerned, very, very worried. Guess what? Banks like JP Morgan, I don't think it's going to crash. I think JP Morgan and others are going to stay strong. It's the little guys that are going to crash. It's the little guys that when they can't handle a bank run, they can't handle every single one of their clients coming and asking for multiple thousands of dollars to pull out of the bank. And guess who's going to swoop right in to be a hero, but / buy up these smaller banks so that they now have more control? It's going to be Jamie Dimon and JP Morgan. This is a very, very this is just a guy who lies all of the time. And what we should take away from this is, on the one hand, the reason why I'm still holding off that I think that Bitcoin's going to have a nice little rally here, but I don't think altcoins are, is because I do think the banking crisis is not over. We're going to hear very soon another bank goes down. People are going to freak out and say, where should my store of value go? And it's going to be flowing into things like Bitcoin, like gold as well, gold and silver as well, but Bitcoin's going to get a nice pump. That's why when I hear people talk about altcoin seasons, I don't think the economy where it is right now is ready for an altcoin season. I don't think you're going to see a lot of people sending money into explorative, like, hey, this is risky. Hey, I think that this could be cool. Let me go throw into Cosmos. Let me go throw into something else. They're going to say, where can I put my money that I think it's actually going to have a store value that's valuable? And Bitcoin is the one that they're going to be comfortable with going into in the crypto space. Now, that is what's going to lead to, after the next big crash, people are going to explore more into cryptocurrency. And then I think an altcoin season starts later. But exactly what Jamie Dimon is talking about here, and I know we're about to transition, but I do want to hear what Piper has to say on this. I do think what we're even seeing just line up perfectly is, again, a Bitcoin market where maybe altcoins trickle behind, but following it's going to be a Bitcoin market, and then we're going to have a big crash because of chaos, or what Bill Noble called the everything's all right rally, where they try to reinstill confidence in the banking system. And then the real dip in stock market and banks will happen. And that's when there will be a massive transition. People will actually start appreciating cryptos a little bit more because the whole financial system will just be shattered. Piper, what are your thoughts about that?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we have that is something we got to talk about here in a second. Oh, you're muted. Mooted.
Yeah, I did want to talk about that because that just came out 3 minutes ago. We got the jobs report numbers in. But I mean, this is an opportunity for Jamie Dimon to steal all of the smaller banks' customers and bring them over to, Chase or JP Morgan, I mean. So, I mean, I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised. I could see him doing this just to go, let's make it look like everyone else is shaky and I'm on top of it watching everything and I know what's going on. My bank is safer. It's business 101. I do want to jump over here though and show this
Yeah, let's do it.
Jolt's job openings came in just 3 minutes ago. We were consensus was 10.4 million jobs was going to be available, forecasted at 10.8 million. Actually came in under 10 million. So we are seeing a drop in openings of jobs, which means people have now cut jobs in America. I would not say that this is so much that people took these jobs. Very unlikely. This is probably jobs are starting to be cut. And
Yep.
if I jump over here on my four screener, you will see that the Dixie is now dropping on this news, which
Yep.
should give a little potential move up to, like Bitcoin here and Ethereum and Dow Jones did have a nice big wick up there. Right now, only a 15-minute chart. We'll see how this plays out. Right now, trading on its lower trade band for the Dow Jones. So,
Yeah. Yep, absolutely.
Perfect.
Absolutely.
Well-
I wonder how much of that job loss is ChatGPT related.
who
Related.
knows?
Interesting. That would be interesting. Well, it's time to transition. It is now 10:04. So we are going to be opening up into Q&A. And you guys can see down below us, it says Q&A TA. To be fair, you guys can use this time if you want to ask a question about us. You want to talk about trading tips and tricks, philosophies, stories. You guys can ask anything, but you definitely can be asking for altcoins or stocks that you guys want to see some TA on. If you guys give super chats, of course, we will prioritize super chats because people are giving money, but still comment what you guys want to see. And today, hopefully, we'll have a little more time. We're going to cover a little bit more here and break things down. So go ahead and start giving us your recommendations, what you guys want to see. Crypto Trades just commented, said, smash that like button like it was the IRS taking your taxes. If the IRS takes my, do I smash the IRS?
Yes.
You would smash them with a hammer?
I would
Yes.
not recommend that.
I don't think. But I love the heart of what Crypto Trade said right there, saying, go ahead and hit that like button. John J. Mackay said, I'll go. Have you done any TA on Algo recently, Piper?
I have not.
All right,
So,
I'll go ahead and I'll do that one. So the next one that comes in,
I'll go ahead
what
and
we're
start
going to do is
looking at it.
kind of go back and forth on this one. I'm going to handle
Nice.
Algo for now. And you know what? Let's go ahead and go to my screen, Piper. They get to just kind of walk through this with me. I want to start off on the daily chart. Let's just take a look at some things. First thing I'm noticing is not going to be perfect, but we are setting higher lows here on Algo. That's a good sign going right back here. It's not going to be a perfect trend line, though. So if I were to draw this right here, yeah, we're not necessarily starting this trend back here. There is definitely, I'll keep that one up, though. Something to keep an eye on for the long term. If you guys are at home on your TradingView account and you're copying, feel free. There's no such thing as copyright infringement when it comes to TA. If you see someone else's TA that you like, go ahead and use it. I did have something drawn here, but I'm gonna get rid of that for now. Let's keep walking on here, seeing another support line right here. This is the one that I definitely would be keeping more of my eyes on here in a shorter timeline. Let me turn that to blue. I'm going to turn this other one blue as well, being support levels. Now, we just rejected here on the daily dynamic reactor a couple of days ago. So that is something definitely you want to keep your eyes on. However, at the same time, there's two ways you could kind of look at this. You could make this statement. I'm going to draw both of these. You could look at this and say, keep an eye on this resistance level right here. Did I get that line drawn? You could look at it that way. You also could say, did we break it right here by hitting this one? But I'm gonna go ahead and just say, let's keep an eye here as we make another rally. Let's keep an eye here on this resistance level as well. Let me go ahead and turn that one red, as well as a potential trading channel of types with multiple touches here. Come on now for me, chart. With multiple touches here. So keep your eyes on these levels of resistance as we continue to break them. The oscillator is not necessarily flashing anything crazy. We did have a red reversal that called this peak really nicely right there with the dynamic reactor. But nothing necessarily too intensive. Let's see what the 4-hour chart is telling me. And then I want to pull up my range, my multi-time frame support and resistance zone. Down the 4-hour chart, we had a nice call down here, a double oversold with green triangle, called the bottom here. Yes, we had a little bit of a wick below, but if you put your stop loss in a good place, you would not have been stopped out on that one. So we are currently under a bullish signal here on the 4-hour chart. That is a very, very good sign here. Let's look at our smart money concept bundles. We have our predictive ranges here on the 4-hour chart. We kind of stayed above this green line, just hit our head on the upper or the lower gold band. So that's another sign that we're sitting in a spot right now that is overextended to the downside. We are oversold. So that's one reason to be a little bit more bullish on Algo right now. Let's even pull up, though. Let's take down our predictive ranges, and let me pull up my one of my favorite things about the Chart Prime package, this multi-time frame. So as you can see, we can here, not a lot of strong support. This is another thing similar to Cardano. A lot of the pressure, a lot of the support and resistance levels, which at this point they're resistance because they're above us, they're all above us. This is very unlike what you see, again, when you look at Bitcoin, all of the price levels, if it's going to load for me, come on now, load for me, Bitcoin.
Come on.
All the price, I'll just go ahead and tell you while it's loading. All of this strong levels of support and resistance are almost below. Yes, there's a little bit above us, but all of this is below us. Same thing with Ethereum. Is it going to load for me? Yeah, but most of the work is down below us. But then you get over to things like Cardano, and most of it is above us. Same thing coming back down to Algo. It's all above us. So watch for when we eventually get a breakout, watch for levels all the way up here towards 25, as high as 26 cents. But then there's still even more. Of course, we were just back up here in February earlier this year. We were all the way up at almost 30 cents. So this is an overextended coin to the downside for sure. Last thing I want to take a look at, let's look at a shorter timeline of Fibonacci. And I'm going to take down my smart money concept bundles just so we clear some space right there. We bounced just perfectly here a little bit ago off the 0.236. Watch for a little bit of resistance to kind of come in line with that level of that descending level of resistance at the 0.382. Then again, the 0.5 sitting here at 23 cents. Golden pocket, though, watch potentially. This could be very interesting. This could be very interesting to watch kind of play like this and come up here to golden pocket along with the resistance level of the trading channel. And we're looking right here at about 25.33 cents on Algo. Either way, right now, I'm not necessarily saying I would enter along with a bunch of leverage because it could still move a little to the downside. But in a longer timeline, I definitely think we have room to the upside with Algo, not necessarily too much more room to the downside. That is your Algo TA. Hopefully that helps. What was one that you were looking at, Piper, that you can take over? We did get a super chat from Elliot Locke that I'll make sure T Shroom does. I'll read this and then I'm going to throw it to you, Piper. Elliot Locke said a stonk for T Shroom to look at. Solvay SA, it's Sol. So not Solana, I'm assuming, but Sol. It's a chemical company. Tim, make the wife have the ankle biter early so you can be at Bitcoin 2023. Well, first of all, I don't think I can make my wife do that. I don't think I want to make my wife do that. And unfortunately, I think the chance for me to go to Bitcoin 2023 is already passed. Don't have a ticket for it or anything, but I'll be at 2024.
So the name of the stock is Sol?
So well, it's called Solvay, but the ticker should be Sol. And with that said, I'm gonna throw it to Piper. Piper, what are you looking at that you want to address on charts?
Well, before we went to leave Algorand really quickly, if you could, just I wanted to say that their tokenomics look good. Their top 10 holders are only 19%, and their top 100 holders comprise only 65%.
Oh,
and
nice.
their over time, their holders have only gone up. So
that's good stuff.
So that's good. I'm flexing my muscles and I'm flexing my skills, or trying to grow my skills is a better way to characterize this in tokenomic analysis. So there you go. You're welcome.
Boom.
America.
Boom, boom. What do you got, Piper?
All right. I pulled up Spell. That was someone asked for that. I'm not sure. Let me see who it was. Someone asked for Spell. It was cars and crypto. There we go. So, yeah, so I'm looking here on it right now. You can see that we did have a nice run up here on Spell once it found support on its dynamic reactor here. That move from that run up gave it a move of approximately 28%, so pretty darn good. Once it got up there, hit that deep into the reversal bands here, got a reversal down, and down she came. Right now, finding support on this trend line, auto-printed trend line here, but what I do want to show you is if I drop this over to the 1 hour, and let's get in here, and you will see that we actually have some predictive ranges here. And on these predictive ranges, I'm going to turn this off, clean this up just a little bit so we can get it clear. There we go. We are currently right now getting all of our support off of the lower support line of the predictive ranges here. We are sitting above the dynamic reactor, but we did get a hidden bearish divergence and a red momentum dot coming into the cloud. Does look like it might have a little bit of pullback, maybe to retest this support line coming in at about 0.00074. So that's what I would be watching for there. One last thing that I want to point out here, we're going to go to the 4 hour for this, and I'm going to show you what happened here. That is going to be the fibs, and this is going from their high, going all the way back here down to the low down here. And we currently, what we had is we got that rejection that I showed you guys earlier that hit that upper band on the reversal bands, and that is our golden pocket that we got rejected from. We tried to come up and get back above the 50 here with the perfect rejection on the 50% of the fib line, but now we are stuck beneath the 382. I do think that if we come down to that 0.0071 to 72 range, hitting that support that I showed you on the predictive ranges also there, that it will give us a nice cool off here. What I could see happening here off of this 382 is we probably come down to there. This gives us a little bit of a cool off, of a pump up, and then rejects on the zero line. That's called a ZLR, zero line rejection. And then from there, we should be able to get a nice bounce up. So I'm thinking that right now we go a little sideways, get this pump up to the zero line rejection, and then it comes down, retesting that 0.71. And that's where I'd be looking to go in for a long if I was to get into that, Tim.
Interesting. Very, very interesting. Did you know anything about the tokenomics on that one, T-shirt?
No, I do not. Sorry. Yeah. I've been looking at Sol.
No,
which is
that's
good.
You prepare there. Do you feel like you're ready for that one?
I'm gonna go ahead and say this is a little over my head because it looks like this is only traded in Brussels.
Well, go ahead and pull it up, and we can look.
Well, I'm okay. I mean, I'm only really looking at it to make sure I have the right asset. This is a chemicals company, but I'm not seeing an American ticker for it. Like when I type in Solvay,
it definitely wants to
Solvay. It's only coming up in Brussels, so there's not really an American one. So if you want to invest in a Brussels asset, which I guess isn't the craziest thing, but I don't know how you would do that necessarily without establishing a corporation in Brussels. Which could be very complicated. Which I would say there's way better ways to make money than to unless you know something about this, in which case DM me and we can talk. But this is, I would say, I don't really know if this is even the right company, and I don't think it is. So I'm just going to defer. Unfortunately, I'm sorry about that. But Elliot Locke, but DM me on Discord and we'll see if we can make a little more headway with this today.
Gotcha. Well, we got a request for DOT. We haven't done DOT TA in a while. So let me come over here and play with some DOT here. The first thing I'll notice, we had been in a falling trading channel that didn't quite get its proper breakout here to the prediction mode. So the question is it over already? I don't necessarily know. It's definitely something I want to keep an eye on. But in this trading channel, we had a pretty nice, I think we ended up doing not quite the 5 point. Okay, we only had 4 points before we actually ended up breaking through. So that's a little non-traditional. It would have given us price prediction breakup, though, all the way back up to $8.37. I'm going to be honest with you. On DOT has been a little bit of a disappointment because it has so much potential there. But ever since Gavin Wood was the former CEO, and I know he's still in the company, but ever since he's stepped down, I said this back when he did it, and people were saying, no, everything's all right. But I said, there's something not right about Gavin stepping down. And since that moment, DOT has not been the same. But it still has got some powerful technology with this interoperability. I still think DOT has the chance to be a special coin in the future. Let's take a look here out in the daily chart. Ever since we had a false predictive reversal down here, when we got back up to this resistance level, of course, this was the breakout of that trading channel. Not a lot of flashes on Chart Prime telling us too much on the daily chart. Let's pull up our oscillators here. Same thing over here. We've had some good signals. It's been trading sideways, so you're going to find some good signals. We had this triple touch right here. That was a good top call of our bearish divergence, red triangle, reversal down into that peak seeker. Same thing over here. Even though it wasn't double, we had that red triangle kind of call that top almost perfectly. And then since then, we've just been moving very, very, very sideways. Nothing necessarily too special happening there. We're kind of hovering here in the middle. And then, again, I can't really do much with this information. Watch if we continue to climb here, potentially watch up here back to $6.75, maybe up closer towards $7. But this is definitely one. DOT is not doing anything super special. It's not doing anything crazy. It's over. I would say it's more oversent to the downside. It's more oversold. So maybe a long-term purchase for DOT. But as far as trading, and that's what we're doing a lot of talk here, trade setups, I'm not necessarily sold too much on what I'm seeing from them. Let's take a look at some Fibonacci levels. Let's go back all the way. I'm going to start off going back here, and I'm going to do a shorter timeline. Shorter timeline Fibonacci levels as well. Going back to, what is this date? This is back in August. Yeah, we love looking at fib levels from back in August. We peaked out at the golden pocket. So then when we rallied here, that would have been a good call. That's part of the reason why we didn't get our full extension up to what this could have been, because we ended up hitting our head on the golden pocket. Came back down, technically broke a little bit below it, but kind of hovered right there at 0.236. And right now we're wrestling with 0.382. So even kind of further confirmation that maybe we get a push up towards that $7 region. That's where the 0.5 level is. I'm not necessarily seeing anything too crazy going on there. The momentum is just not there for DOT. And again, unless they get some major break of news, they're going to be one that just kind of trickles along with the rest of the space, not necessarily doing anything special themselves. I could be wrong. I'm not like living on DOT boards, and I don't know what updates they've been working on, what partnerships they've worked on. But ever since Gavin Wood stepped down, it's not been great. I think that's just one. It's a very long term. Hopefully, when crypto starts becoming very, very exciting and people are using it all the time, that's probably why DOT is down right now, is that not as many people are using crypto to do all their exchanging. Right now, we just hit our head on the 0.5 level in a shorter timeline. If we go back up to this peak we had on the 19th of February down to the more recent low, we are hitting our head right here. Notice this is why Fib is so cool. If you guys don't use Fibonacci retracements when you're trading, you definitely need to. Let me just look right here. We came back down. Technically, we broke a little above, but rejected at the 0.5, came all the way back to the 0.236, found our support. Now we're wrestling with the 0.5. Would not be surprised to see us almost continue this, what looks like it looks like we're kind of forming, if we reject right here, I guess technically speaking, that is not red. Let me see if the 4-hour chart is red. Not enough to say with any type of certainty we're done. Watch potentially, everybody. Again, we talked about the double bottom earlier, I believe. Watch for double top / a couple formations we could have here. So the first one I'm looking at, let's go right here. Watch this line. If I send this down to the wick, is it going to give me more connections? No, it's not going to give me that much more connections. So watch this support level right here being used. We're setting higher lows at the moment. And if you were to go all the way back here, we broke a trend, although there's only 2 touches. We did break lower resistance levels that actually had some nice touches there. So that's a bullish sign right there. Watch to see as we get back up to this peak, though. Let me go ahead and get rid of that line. As we get back up to this peak, will we see potentially, there's one of 3 things we could see play out. Do we see a double top formation, which would be a bearish kind of trend here? Do we see it hit its head right here? And then what you're watching for is a break back down here. Do we potentially, even then, if we see that double top, do we potentially see it hit its head? Come on, grab my marker. There you go. And then come back down to this red line, in which case now we're looking at an ascending triangle. That would be a bullish look for DOT that would send us to the upside. This is definitely one right now. Like I said, investment long term, I think it actually might be in a good spot for investment long term. But watch these lines. Like I said, if you want to screenshot your computer right now, watch these levels. What happens to the price when we get back to 671 area? Again, it's a zone. Don't just wait for that exact level. Do we reject or do we break through? Then watch for a pullback. Can we hold support? If we can hold support here, we're looking at an ascending triangle. If we do not hold support here, we're potentially looking at a double top situation that you should be waiting to see. Oh no, we're going to have something really bad happen. Guess what? By the way, if something bad happens in the space and altcoins go down to the downside, you definitely want to be watching for a breakout down below this level now here at 5.80 cents, $5.80 on DOT. So if you guys are loving trading DOT, or if you guys are big DOT fans, there is a trade setup coming, and it's going to be a lot about what happens when we get back to 671, and then what do we do over the next couple of days. Interesting things there on DOT. Were there any other coins that people are asking? Cars and Crypto said DOT is sleeping at the moment. I could not agree more. That's exactly what it looks like it is doing. Ninja Glock says use this time to accumulate DOT. Yeah, I mean, I think the technology is still there. It's not like when Wood left that he made the technology worse. It's just, I don't know if you guys saw it. We covered this a while ago. I don't think I have it anymore. When you compare different altcoins and their development, the same day, like the exact day that Gavin Wood stepped down, DOT started to plummet in terms of their advanced technology. Cardano was screaming, climbing higher. Ethereum was going higher. At the time, Solana was going higher, but then, of course, Solana's went down after the whole FTX debacle, and they ended up losing the 90-something% of their devs. But that's something that DOT does not have going for it, is that they're not progressing. So are they just waiting? Are they just saying, hey, we're more of a bull market-esque coin that when people want to use the interoperability, will explode again? If that's the case, then yeah, you want to accumulate as much as you can. These are great prices. The question is, will they make that? I don't know. We know that not every altcoin will make it. I don't know which. I'm not going to even make a prediction of which, but I can just about promise you here in 5 years, when you're looking at, I don't have it pulled up, but Coin Market Cap. Let me see here. You guys like my Buffalo background right there?
Yes.
When you're looking at Coin Market Cap right here, I guarantee you one of these coins in the top 20 will probably not still be. They might exist, but they will not be anywhere close to the top 20. We're going to have attrition in altcoins, even the top altcoins. The question is which ones. We don't know. We don't know that yet. And we're going to have to wait. DOT is definitely on that list of like possibilities. Like you can't just say with 100% certainty that DOT's going to make it long term. As much as they're the first and they're a layer one solution, they're not the only interoperability coin on the market. There's lots of others, and so it's going to be a competition. It's going to see what has to happen. Can they get their development going back again? Then they could be good. But Tishan, do you have a thought on that?
Okay, I was able to find Solvay SA. It is a Brussels company, but you can trade it over the counter in America, and it looks like it's I got close to a buy order here on it on my Robinhood account, so it'll let me buy it on Robinhood. So, and the ticker is SLVYY. I'm here on the weekly chart taking a look at it. I don't know much about the fundamentals. I don't know if it's in profit. I don't know anything about it in that regard. Actually, I might be able to find that out over here. But sometimes sorry guys, because it's an international company, it throws a lot of wrenches into the system. Okay, the PE ratio is positive, and the EPS is positive. So that would mean that this company is in profit, and I would imagine it would be because it's a chemicals company. There's not a lot of like startup chemicals companies these days, and the market cap is 10 billion. So, you know, just from those, the tokenomics, so to speak, or the balance sheet analysis, so to speak, from Yahoo Finance, I would say this is not scaring me. There's not a lot of red flags, and they do have a dividend. So they have a dividend. They actually, yeah. So they gave one out on January 16th. So they're a value company, I would say. So I would not be looking to make a bunch of money on this over a period of time. But let's take a look at the charts here. I've got a lot of things pulled up. So let me turn off some of the noise here. Okay, so it's bounced. This is a weekly chart. So it's bounced off the dynamic reactor here, and didn't honestly on the weekly chart didn't obey that super well. So right off the bat, if it's not going to work super well with Chart Prime, I would be a little bit hesitant to trade it just because there's so many other options. But it sounded to me like, Elliot Locke, like you might actually work at this company, and so you have stock options, and that's maybe why you're curious. I'm not sure. So you know the oscillator and the MACD, the Chart Prime oscillator and the MACD are not sending me like super bullish signs. So nothing about the charts are like exciting me. But it is, you know, when I turn off the Smart Mini Concepts bundle, I am getting a little bit, and again, on the weekly chart, I am getting a little bit of frame of reference here because it is coming off the equilibrium, which is nice. I would like to see, you know, a stock at or around here if I'm going to buy it, either under the equilibrium or around the discount. If it's getting lower than the discount, that's kind of scaring me. Or if it's even at it, you know, I have to ask questions. But you know, I don't want to see, but I also don't want to see it up here by the premium because that means I'm paying too much for it. And unless there's something like this AI company today, BSV something, then I want to know a fundamental reason of why it's up. So I would say, you know, overall, if you work at this company and you're getting the shares, I don't see a reason why you would want to liquidate those as you're getting them, because I think that most chemical companies are going to do well. The economy needs chemicals. And from a chart standpoint, it's staying within a pretty good range here, and it's not ultra volatile. So I would feel comfortable having some wealth in this name.
I'm concerned with the how close it's getting to its upper premium line and that rejection of that trend line, your red trend line up there. With the cloud of the oscillator getting so tight right now, and it's got that bounce off the zero line and the ribbon's coming back up right now. So I would expect that it's probably going to go up there, reject around the premium zone off of that trend line, that red trend line that's running down through there, maybe wick up into the premium off of the order block and then come back down. That is a probably a strong rejection point, and because that cloud is so tight, there could be a decent move back down to the downside. So
something like that. Yeah.
correct.
Well, again, this is the weekly chart, so throw it on the daily chart. Let's see if there's a different picture, or if it's painting something similar. But I appreciate that, Piper, the master with the charts here. So yeah, I mean, it's saying something pretty similar, I'd say. So
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, hopefully that was a lot better, Elliot. I just needed a few more minutes to try and figure out what angle to come at this name. Thank you, Piper. But that is Solvay SA. They engage in the manufacturing and distribution of chemicals and plastic products. So again, they're definitely not going to be the next Tesla.
Yeah.
But if you're looking for something for grandma to invest in, that's probably a pretty good name.
Sweet. Well, we're going to go ahead and wrap up the show for today. If you guys have enjoyed this content, if you enjoyed this last 30 minutes or so doing some of this TA, you guys would absolutely love being in the Discord, especially in the Patreon paid versions of it. By the way, today we have our first ever second edition of Bro Time. That is our live AMA weekly. We always do Thursdays from 3 to 4 for our gold and diamond members, but starting today, we will actually be doing 2 Bro Times. So the Tuesday today, 3 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, we will be doing Bro Time. We'll answer more questions just like this. We'll just talk. We'll kick back. Very relaxed. Again, if you guys are new here, subscribe to the channel. Join that Discord. If you guys are loving the Investing Bros, you guys will definitely love it over there. We love each and every single last one of you. Thank you for watching us today. And with that said, we will see you tomorrow. You guys have a great day.